So there are two types of people in this world. People who make rational financial decisions and film photographers. Hi, welcome to the camera review. Meet the Olympus 35SP, the latest addition to my ever-growing collection of perfectly justifiable purchases. Olympus 35SP, a rangefinder so good Olympus thought, yeah, let's never do that again. This beautiful little rangefinder was Olympus's way of saying, we could make a Leica competitor, but honestly, we'd rather just confuse you. See, it's got full manual controls and an automatic mode, so it simultaneously appeals to both control freaks and people who just want to press the button and pray. The camera is compact but hefty, like a brick. A very aesthetic brick. It just looks so good, at least if you're into old school rangefinder designs. You can think of it as the hipster ancestor of the X100 series. This thing has a 42mm f1.7 lens so sharp it could cut through my last shred of financial responsibility. Well, when I say sharp, I mean sharp. Once you stop down a bit. Wide open, it's a little smeary, but hey, at least you have the option to shoot at f1.7 if you enjoy gambling with the focus. At 42mm, the lens is neither 50 nor 35, making it the perfect focal length if you want to shoot street photography but are chronically indecisive. Alright, let's talk light metering. Light metering? Yes, the small beast has built-in light meter. And there's more. It's dual meter with spot metering as well. That's the SP in the name, not spaghetti. The metering is surprisingly competent, when it wants to be. Other times it seems to enjoy making you suffer just a little, as if shooting film wasn't enough of a personality flaw. You can set your film's ISO up to 800 on this dial. Anything higher and you're on your own. The meter shows you a number inside the viewfinder window. You take the number and turn aperture and shutter speed rings until the number shows up in this little window on the lens right here. Then you get correct exposure. Allegedly, at least based on this technological marvel from the 1960s. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest, even for someone like me. And then if you turn all the way, you get to A, which stands for amazing photos. Or, you know, auto, like Autobot, but unfortunately it won't transform into anything cool. The fact that this little camera has automatic exposure but can still shoot if the battery dies was a big selling point for me. The automatic mode is great if you trust 50-year-old technology to make better decisions than you. Then again, it's younger than most politicians, so maybe that's a reassuring thought. So far it's been great, so here's hoping it doesn't start acting its age anytime soon. Now let's talk about one of the standout features, the shutter button. Olympus made a choice here, a bold choice. In their infinite wisdom, they decided it should be... How do I put this? Well, it sticks out like it's constantly excited to take a picture. On the plus side, you won't struggle to find it, unlike the other thing. You probably won't take accidental photos by just brushing the shutter button. You need to push quite a bit to release the shutter. Pressing the shutter button halfway also locks the exposure, which can be handy when using auto exposure. Shooting with the 35SP is mostly great experience. The focus throw is short, which means you can go from out of focus disaster to tack sharp genius really fast. And fast is always better, contrary to popular belief. The aperture and shutter speed rings are both on the lens, so you get to stroke it every time you need to adjust the exposure. Very tactile, very analog, very I pretend I know what I'm doing. Adjusting the settings isn't always smooth. Some speeds on my copy feel like turning a rusty door handle, but hey, I can live with that. Also, if you are using the built-in light meter, you will probably have to check the lens at least once while adjusting the exposure, as there is no indication of shutter speed or aperture setting inside the viewfinder. Walking around with this thing feels like stepping into a 1970s detective film. Like I should be wearing a trench coat, solving crimes and developing film in my bathtub. Instead, I'm just trying to take a moody picture of a lamppost because art. Now, let's be honest. Rangefinders can be a little hit or miss. The patch on this one is decently bright, but if you're shooting at night, prepare to summon the ghost of film photographer's past to help you find the focus. Sometimes you might struggle even during the day, if the Olympus feels like it. I know I had. Or you could watch my video on how to fix a dim rangefinder patch. Link in the description. If that fails, just pretend you meant for it to be blurry. Boom, instant art. And then there's the leaf shutter, whisper quiet, practically stealth mode, with a faint steel spring whisper. The kind of thing that makes you feel like a secret agent, except instead of espionage, you're just aggressively photographing an old car because, well, film photography. Plus, unlike most shutters, this bad boy syncs with flash at any speed, so if you ever feel like blinding your friends efficiently, you're in luck. You can even get away with a bit slower shutter speed handheld since there's no mirror slapping up and down in the camera. Ah yes, the battery. Because what's a vintage camera without unnecessary drama, right? The Olympus 35SP originally used a Mercury battery, which, just like Freddy, is not available anymore. So unless you have a time machine lying around, you'll need an adapter or modern replacement. I use this adapter I found on eBay that lets the camera take LR44 batteries and it works perfectly. Or you can just shoot in manual mode and pretend you don't need metering. Confidence is key. Now, before we start closing up this video, no, there's no sponsor, but let's address the elephant in the dark room. The Olympus 35 is capable of stunning image quality, but some of these scans might look like they were done on 1999 fax machine. That's because my previous scanning setup wasn't exactly state of the art. Could I have rescanned and re-edited more than a few hundred photos so I could pick a few for this video? Sure, but I still wanted to retain some sanity, and maybe even a will to live. So if you see some funky tones and weird artifacts, just nod along and call it film character. So, should you get one? If you like rangefinders, sharp lenses, and cameras that make you feel 3.5% cooler than you actually are, yes. No fluff, no gimmicks, works without a battery, well built, and most importantly, looks damn good. But if you enjoy making wise financial choices, maybe not. Even though it's a few kidneys cheaper than a Leica, the prices aren't exactly going down. But let's not pretend you're here for financial advice. We all know how it goes. First you buy one camera, then you start saying things like, "I just love the tactile experience." And before you know it, you're knee deep in expired Portra and explaining the magic of film to a friend who stopped listening 10 minutes ago. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's it for this episode. See you in the next one. Cheerio! Like and subscribe if you too are on a never-ending quest to find the perfect camera, knowing full well it doesn't exist.